First flooding and now sinking. The city of Live Oak is one of the most devastated areas due to Tropical Storm Debby. Tonight on your news at 6, how the town is dealing with the disaster. And an historic bridge newly restored in Marion County didn't stand a chance against Debby's rainfall. Now, who's going to pay for the repair bill? Those answers and more. Your news at 6 starts now.
Now, from your local source, TV 20 News at 6 in high definition.
Good evening. David has the night off. There are hundreds of sinkholes in north central Florida tonight, all developing in the wake of Tropical Storm Debby. Many of those sinkholes are in Suwannee County, and one of them is right beside the county courthouse. TV 20's Yaremi Farinas is here in our studio tonight. And Yaremi, this sinkhole is a little different from what we usually see.
That's right, Paige. This sinkhole is 50 feet wide, but only a feet and a half deep. Even though the sinkhole hasn't caved in, it's affecting local business owners in downtown Live Oak.
It was devastating.
That's how local business owner Hal Arth describes how Tropical Storm Debby left his community. His attorney's office was flooded with more than 9 inches of water, forcing him to replace the carpet.
Wednesday morning, the water had receded past the building, and in about 30 minutes it all disappeared. I mean, it was more than waist deep at the intersection, and in 30 minutes it was gone because it broke through into the cavern where the sinkhole's trying to open up.
Here's what the sinkhole looks like. All the orange marks you see on the ground show the outline of the hole. Suwannee County Sheriff Tony Cameron tells us it's currently a foot and a half deep, and he doesn't know if it's going to get deeper.
We've had geologists over there for the past 2 days. We're running ground penetration radar all over that area, all around the buildings and in the area where the actual sinkhole is.
It's near the Suwannee courthouse, and part of the hole runs through the courthouse parking lot.
I'm standing outside of a local business right by the courthouse. All the cracks you see running across this building were all caused by this sinkhole, forcing business owners to close.
He says these buildings will most likely be condemned, but other buildings may be fine.
That areas out around the outside of it have been tested, and we don't feel that there's any danger of losing the courthouse or any of the government buildings up there.
Cameron says they moved records from the courthouse to a more secure place. While we were in Live Oak, residents stopped by to see the sinkhole, some of them saying they've never seen one up close.
Well, I wanted to see what the sinkhole looked like and take some pictures because I'm headed up north tomorrow, hopefully. And I got a sister-in-law that used to live down here, and she'd like to see it.
Sheriff Cameron says residents who use well water should be boiling the water. He tells us one reason is because the surface water is going into these sinkholes and it could be contaminated. Yaremi Farinas, TV 20 News.
As flood victims continue to stay away from their flooded homes, the Salvation Army is working to make the transition at least a little easier. Salvation Army leaders from Jacksonville, Gainesville, and Tallahassee are now helping residents with a hot meal, bottled water, and an encouraging word. Since last Saturday, Tropical Depression Debby has dumped more than 20 inches of rain in some communities. To see where the Salvation Army is stationed and to find out how you can donate to storm victims, go to our website at WCJB.com. Well, tropical depression rains from Debby forced the closure of the Ocala Social Security office. The building is flooded and must move to a new location. That will happen in August. That means the building will not be reopening until the new location is complete. However, if you still need Social Security services, most of that business can be handled online. For the website address, go to our website, once again, WCJB.com. Time now to take a first look at the weather. What a wild week we've had in the weather this week, Bill. All of the flooding, the heat, and now the heat is back, and we had rain for the past week. What will it be like this weekend?
Virtually no rainfall, no chance of rain, which is good news. It'll help to dry things out, but it's going to be almost dangerous conditions outside as we have a heat index 100 degrees, 105, maybe even 110. So you'll have to take it slow and drink lots of water. Here's some photos we have. Viewers sending these in. Brianna sent this one. It looks like some flooding in some neighborhoods here. Still going to be a problem. They'll start to go down pretty quickly, however, but along the river, not the case. Olena State Park here. This is the bridge, the suspension bridge. If you've ever been to the park, you know how high up that is from the water most of the time. Well, it's being flooded right now. And here's a picture from Alvin on the Santa Fe River. He sent this in. He's actually from Brantford, but you can see this is a dock that's floating down the river. So if you're going out to the river, probably not a good idea to head out in the boat on the rivers because it's going to be very dangerous going along in those areas. But we are expecting to see things remain very quiet For the next several days, storm vision radar, not much going on. We'll have more on that in your forecast in just a few minutes.
Pictures do continue to flood our emails from viewers showing us how the storm has impacted their lives throughout the area. Let's take a look at some of these photos tonight. This is the Melody Christian Center. That's in Live Oak. These were sent to us from Judy Sumrall. As you can see, the water has taken over a lobby right inside and left a couple of people who are stranded at the front door. Some people are using kayaks to just try and get around that area. We want to thank you for all the pictures that you've been sending us, and we ask that you continue to send them. Send them to desk@WCJB.com. Alligators, snakes, and insects could be lurking in or around local waters this weekend. That warning tonight from the Florida Fish and Wildlife officials. After major floods, animals are displaced and end up in areas like your home. If you see any animals, don't go near them. And if it's a little something out of the ordinary, you can contact Florida Wildlife at the telephone number that you see now on the bottom of your screen. And if your home was one of the many flooded by Debby, you now have another problem in addition to animals to worry about. Wet surfaces make it very easy for mold to grow. A plant pathology professor says that surfaces like carpet and wood can hold a lot of moisture, and he says one of the ways to dry the area is to use a dehumidifier or a fan.
The main thing is to get rid of the moisture. If you get rid of the moisture and you make sure there's no leaks and water's not still coming in, the molds can't grow.
Smith also says if you're able to, you can remove the carpet or the wood and let it dry. With hurricane season in full swing, there's a chance that you may need to contact a contractor for repairs, but it can be very easy to get caught in the middle of a scam when choosing a contractor or a roofer. The director of the National Center for the Prevention of Home Improvement Fraud is issuing a warning for homeowners.
You want to contact your insurance agent first and let them know what your situation is. Take a picture of the contractor and take a picture of his license and take a picture of his truck. Know who it is that's coming on your property in the event that you have to pursue legal action later on.
Howard also says many roofing companies use aggressive and misleading tactics in order to gain business, especially right after a large storm. Tonight at 11, we'll have more from Howard and a roofer who's doing everything he can do business the right way in North Central Florida. Millions of the state's dollars went in to restore an historic bridge in Marion County. Now, in just over 2 months, the Sharps Ferry Bridge is shut down again due to Tropical Depression Debby. TV 20's Alicia Pryor explains road crews are now working to figure out a new plan to get residents back on the bridge and then determine who's going to pay for all the repairs.
Road officials want residents to know that it's not the actual bridge itself that's the problem, but what's holding it up.
Residents living near the Sharps Ferry Bridge in Ocala will need to get used to hearing the sounds of road crews for a while. Sunday night, heavy rains from former tropical storm Debby brought on unsafe conditions and forced crews to shut down the bridge.
Sections of a retaining wall collapsed along the north side of the road. The walls, those retaining walls, help support the roadway that linked to the bridge.
It took $8 million worth of state funding to reconstruct the bridge, a project that was finished back in April. Having been open less than 3 months, many are now wondering who will foot the bill to get this historic bridge back in operation.
It's under warranty, and we're in discussions with the design-build team about that matter, that it should be covered under warranty, but we're discussing it right now.
Those who live in the area say they are frustrated with the series of events associated with the bridge. One homeowner says it's annoying to now have to travel out of her way just to get around.
And the inconvenience is just unbelievable to the people and for the gas and for the time and that why this happened with this project.
Marjorie Cannell has lived in her home on County Road 314 for the past 15 years. She says she takes the Sharps Ferry Bridge into the forest often.
And the engineering that they did on it, it's just not believable.
Now it's back to the drawing board for FDOT crews as they work to find a way to get things back to normal. Officials don't have many details yet, but one thing that remains certain.
We as an agency, the Florida Department of Transportation, we're recommending that the road stays closed until we know a little more about the dynamic that's going on in that corridor.
FDOT crews say repairs to the wall could take several weeks or months. Alicia Pryor, TV 20 News.
And remember, for any storm-related concerns or closings, go to our website, WCJB.com, or you can follow us on Twitter. Well, coming up, the state of Florida is playing catch-up after the Supreme Court rules that the Affordable Health Care Act is constitutional. When we come back, we'll take a look at how the state is going to put the new law into action. Stay with us.